With us now is Misty Marris, trial and defense attorney. Misty, thanks so much for being with us. So what sticks out to you here in this case now that we have this video?
Well, now that we have the video, it seems that law enforcement really put together Kobayashi's actions within those days. And what sticks out to me the most is that law enforcement has now said that she actually requested that her luggage be returned from New York back to LAX. She purchased a bus ticket. She's seen on foot with her luggage leaving the country, all leading to this conclusion that she's what's called a voluntary missing person. That means an individual who is missing but has gone because of their own free will. They've left on their own. Because she's an adult, ultimately that conclusion leaves law enforcement in a position where it's difficult for any further action to be taken. But the dichotomy between all of that, all of what's revealed in the investigation, and those text messages that were sent to her family, certainly understandable why her family was immediately incredibly concerned.
Is there any legal recourse the family still has?
Well, they could. So first of all, it doesn't mean that they can't continue their search, even on a private basis, hire private investigators. Also, Los Angeles has now declared this to be a voluntary missing persons case, but they're not closing the missing persons case. That means the investigation is still open. The family could also ask and put pressure on the FBI or federal investigators to get involved to the extent that there's additional information out there that would lead to a different conclusion, and that Kobayashi could potentially be in peril. So the family could push that further in order to continue the investigation, which at this moment is not closed.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there are still questions surrounding, at a minimum, the text messages that Julia just reported that she sent her family. They have the suggestion of illegality. I mean, if she was deeply hacked and had information stolen and to a certain extent extorted, as those texts suggest, what would the authorities be investigating there? Wouldn't they still be investigating that?
Well, they could investigate potential cybercrimes, but it could go one of two ways, John. On one hand, it could absolutely be cybercrimes, a hacker, somebody using force or coercion to get her to leave the country. All of that could be potential for investigation based on those text messages. Presumably, there would be some form of an electronic footprint, specifically with money, banking, anything like that. Or on the flip side, it could be that these messages were sent to a certain extent to provide excuses for her disappearance, in which case there could be legal ramifications down the line to the extent that was purposefully misleading and resulted in a loss of public resources due to the investigation. So certainly could go either way, maybe warrants additional investigation, and the family could potentially push for that.
Needless to say, a lot of questions here. Misty Marris, thank you very much.
Wow.
Kate?